Hey guys, ColbyCheeZe here for OnRPG.com doing a video game review for the Diablo 3 beta, which is in very closed beta right now. Just a couple of people have been able to get into this. We got a chance to get a first look into it, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it and kind of tell you what's going to be different about this game compared to the previous Diablo 2 for all of you Diablo fans out there, and what you can look forward to in this upcoming Diablo. I will say I've always been a huge fan of Blizzard games. I played a ton of Diablo 2 back in the day, so I'm really excited for this game to come out. Plus, this is one of my favorite type of genres, any kind of beat 'em up game, and therefore I am super excited. Now, this actual beta is about 1/3 or so of the way through what you'll see in Act 1 according to Blizzard, and it's actually designed so that even your grandma can probably beat this part without any problems. So it may seem kind of simple from the footage that you're watching, and that's because it is. It's supposed to be. And the game does have actually 4 different difficulty modes. Once you beat the entire game, you'll move on to a nightmare, and then to hell, and then to finally an inferno mode where all of the monsters in the entire act are like higher level than you. So that's going to be pretty awesome. But for now, let's just talk about what we can actually play. Right away, you can tell in this game the visuals are stunning. I mean, they are amazing. I think in a large part because the actual special effects look really nice. Such great particle effects that they have been used, and it's all tied together very well with some great sound on top of that. So I really enjoy that just from the get-go. Diablo continues with the kind of dark style of the genre or of the series thus far, and it's not real cartoony like the World of Warcraft series or anything like that, which I do like this style overall. Before actually playing the beta and hearing about some of the things that Blizzard had decided to do design-wise in the game, I wasn't sure how they were going to actually make the game feel fresh and expand on the gameplay. After giving it a go, though, I was pleasantly surprised. They've made a lot of new design decisions that they feel are going to improve the overall experience. So let's just kind of compare this to the last Diablo game and give you an idea of what you're going to be up against. So first off, in Diablo 2, they had a whole lot of emphasis on inventory management and trying to decide if you want to keep items in your inventory, or you'd have to go back to town with the town portal scroll and sell your items and then go back out and then just do this over and over again. However, what they've done in this one to alleviate that is you get a couple of unique items that will not take up inventory space, and those are called the Cauldron of Jordan and also the Heraldric Cube. Now, the Heraldric Cube in this game is not actually used to craft stuff similar to the previous Diablo. Instead, the Heraldric Cube is able to disassemble items in your inventory into scraps that will be used to craft items at your blacksmith. And then you have a cauldron which can actually sell your items. So you can either sell your items for gold pieces, or you can continue to break all of them down and get those pieces you need for crafting later. One cool thing about gold is not only do you have the gold on the character that you're currently playing, it's automatically shared between all of the other characters on your account. So you don't have to worry about, dropping gold out on the ground and having someone else pick it up and then give it to you later if you want to share gold between your different characters. It's always going to be available to you. That's awesome. Also, the fact that you can break down or sell items right in the field from your inventory means you don't have to sit there and drop stuff out, and you don't have to worry about going back to town and then back out to fight and then back to town and back out to fight just because you want to maximize the amount of gold that you get. So that's just a time saver, and it's just really awesome. Just a small thing that is really good that they did. Also, instead of being able to use town portal scrolls in this game where you just push a button and automatically creates a portal, now you have what's called a recall stone, and what that does is it will make you channel for a while, for like, a couple seconds. That way you can't abuse it, and then it'll create a portal in which you can go back to town and then come back to your current location. So you don't necessarily need to have portals created by your allies, and you can't do that anymore. You can't go into your allies' portals anymore, so there's no abusing that. What you can do, however, is for anyone in your game, they have these little flags in town, and if you click on that flag, it'll actually just teleport you to wherever your friend is in the world at that point. So that's how you're going to be able to meet up with your friends in the field whenever you're fighting, and you join up in public games and things like that. they've done a big change in Diablo 3 with the way your skills work. So no longer are you going to actually level up and then put points into stats like agility and strength and things like that, and then you're no longer going to go down 3 different skill trees and have to make decisions on which skills are going to be strong. For this one, they've actually given you 6 skill slots that you can use, or it's like 6 abilities that you can use at a time, and you unlock more slots as you level up all the way to level 30, which you'll get your last one at level 30. And the way it works is your spells, you automatically learn them as you level up, so you don't have to put any points in or talk to anyone to learn your spells, and then your spells automatically level up as you do, so they get stronger automatically. But the thing is, you have to choose which spells you're going to use. So you may decide that you're going to use a fireball spell, and you're going to use an ice freezing spell, but you can't use all the other ones. You have to make a decision on just a couple of them at a time, and I think it actually works out really well. You have to decide on which combination is going to work best for the situation. One nice thing about it is that you're not exactly locked into those abilities for good. You don't have to go back to town to change them, and it's not something where you have to respec to change them. It's actually you just open up your skill tree, and then there they are. You just select new ones. So from that point, you can go ahead and pick what you want to use. So I like that. It doesn't allow you to abuse anything. Like, you can't get a passive shield ability and then change it and still have the shield. It'll actually remove that shield from you. So they've done a good job of designing this, and it just makes things really simple. It takes out a little bit of customization, but the way they're going to have you customize in this game is with the actual runes that you can put on your spells. So as you get higher level, which you can't actually do it in this beta here, but as you do get higher level, you'll be able to socket in these runes into your actual abilities, which change up the way your abilities work and make them behave differently, like maybe shoot more of the spell or change it to a different damage. I don't know, there's a lot of different changes that they've done to the game, but I haven't been able to experiment with it since, again, this is not in the game yet. There are also 3 passive skills that you get to level up as you go, and those are interchangeable just the same way your spells are. So really interesting thing that they've done here with the spells. I did get a chance to play through all of the different characters, and all of the abilities were really fun to play on, and so I want to go ahead and talk about the different resource systems that they've put into the game. Each character has its own resource system, and when I say that, I mean like mana. So for the Witch Doctor, he uses your standard mana pool that you would expect from like Diablo 2 and that sort of thing, and just so nothing out of the ordinary there. But all the other ones are something unique. So for example, the Wizard, instead of using mana, she uses what's called arcane power, and this is pretty much right around 100 normalized, except for any items that give you a slight bit more, and it's super fast recharge time. And the way the sorceress works is she's got 4 core abilities that cost next to nothing to use, but then she's got other abilities which use quite a lot of arcane power, and so you'll focus on using those core abilities for the most part, and then you'll toss out your other big arcane power abilities for standard effects based on what you're trying to do. The Barbarian uses a Fury system, so every time he attacks with regular attacks or with Fury gaining type abilities, then he'll gain up his Fury bar, and then he has Fury attacks which are more powerful and can do different things, and those will expend his Fury bar. The Monk uses a type of resource called Spirit, and he's got several abilities which actually don't cost any mana or resources at all, and then he's got these big finishing moves or like different types of spells that will add certain effects to the game, such as one that taunts all enemies to attack this little ghost, and that costs Spirit and regenerates at a fairly decent rate, but you definitely can't spam those abilities. You have to use his non-Spirit abilities for the most part. And then finally, for the Demon Hunter, she's actually got 2 different resources. She's got a Hatred bar and a Discipline bar. The Discipline bar regenerates quite slow, but it's going to allow you to use all of the abilities such as traps and dodging type spells. And then her Hatred bar is most of her attacks which you want to obviously use a lot because that's what she does. She attacks things. So that's a cool system overall. I like it. It's pretty cool to have that different level of play on each character, and I definitely enjoyed going through each one. So whether you're playing by yourself or with friends, you're going to find lots of loot. The cool thing about Diablo 3 though is that when you are playing with friends, you don't have to fight over the loot that's dropping because it's actually instance based. What that means is everyone sees their own loot. So if a giant axe drops for your friend, you won't even see that. And same thing for you. So anytime that some gold is on the ground, definitely go pick it up because it has no effect on what your friends are getting or what other people in your game are getting. I think this is a great thing that they added to Diablo due to the fact that I remember in Diablo 2, if you tried to join like a bail run or something like that, it was a mad dash to see who could get the items from him at the very end. You would see people just like click, 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 and there was bots that people would use to pick up stuff even faster. So this just makes it so much smoother. They've smoothed over so many different things about the whole gameplay experience, and it feels really nice and very clean. Even things such as picking up gold at all. I mean, all you have to do is walk close to the gold and your character will automatically pick it up. So they've reduced a lot of unnecessary clicking. There's not a ton of different boxes and dead villagers and things like that you have to turn over. There's, they are in the game, but not to the point to where you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta click on everything. Just enough to make you go, oh, cool, I'm clicking on stuff, right? Because, that's fun. That's what you're doing. That's what this whole game's about. I also like some of the stuff that they've done with the storyline elements. Every once in a while, you'll find a journal that drops out of somebody, and you can pick up that journal and hear a little bit of lore about what's going on in the world. I remember in Diablo 2, sometimes you would find a book or something laying around, and you could sit there and read it, but I never liked doing that. So I really enjoy this one because you just pick up the book and you keep fighting monsters and it's sitting there reading it off to you, and then if you miss anything you can always go back later and you've got this journal or whatever, and you can go back and read over all that lore, and there's actually lore about all of the monsters that you fight that Deckard Cain will read off to you if you choose. So that's just a nice little touch that they've added as well. Overall, the game was super fun to play through. Even if it was very short, I was able to beat the Skeleton King encounter within less than an hour on most of the characters. So I cannot wait for more of Act 1 or just the entire game to be released at all in the first place. We're going to see this sometime in 2012, but make sure to visit OnRPG.com for more information about the game as it is getting closer to launch. And if you want to discuss it, jump on over to our boards at OnRPG.com/boards. So that's it. This is ColbyCheeZe. Peace out.